I'm so excited to welcome today's guest to the Great MeSet. It's Tula Life Balance. They are my everything, my adult nannies, my chefs. They put up my Christmas tree, so they're also elves. And today we're going to talk to Cody, who's the co-founder and chief experience officer at Tula. Welcome, Cody.
Thank you, Terry. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, you are the co-founder and chief experience officer for Tula. And truly, you guys have simplified my life so that it can be more balanced. Last year I had 130 plus hotel nights for work, very little time at home. I worked like 20 something weekends. I have no time to run errands, clean my house, cook, all the things. But you guys were there, like my best friend in my pocket, my adult nanny, all the things, helping me to keep my life on track. And for that, I can't thank you enough. And, you and I have been on text and emails just for your patience and grace with my hot mess, HAUTE, of course. But thank you.
Oh my gosh. No, you are like an ideal client, an amazing client to work for. All of our assistants have said such incredible things about you and your grit, and so honored to be a part of a very small part of all the things you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so you and your co-founder, Megan, live in Denver. I want to know, how did you guys meet? How did you birth this thing called Tula? Tell me all the things.
Oh man. Well, we met probably 21 years ago. I was kind of finishing up my undergrad and working part-time at an oil and gas company that my dad worked at. And she actually was already, into her career. And we were probably the only gals under 50 maybe that work there. So we just connected on that level. She actually introduced me to my now husband. And we became very close friends. I left the oil and gas industry pretty quickly. I realized that was not for me, and ended up in the event business, where I spent most of my career. Um, and then, yeah, in 2020, right as our event business was really picking up steam, doing events internationally and
Oh,
all
wow.
of yeah, COVID hit. So that kind of diverted. A pivot was very necessary. And Megan was at that point in her career feeling all the burnout, all of I mean, she was managing over 100 people, a single mom of two amazing gals, and just feeling very burnt out and stressed. And so Tula was really her idea, and she started talking to me about it. We would go on walks during the shutdown, and we were just kind of bouncing ideas off each other. And yeah, the concept of Tula was born. We would talk and talk and talk about it, and it actually ended up steamrolling pretty quickly, because I think we started talking about it in probably May of 2020, and then by June started building our MVP.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a fast turnaround.
It was. Yeah, it was I suddenly had a lot of time. All of our were were canceled. So outside of like negotiating, getting out of contracts and things like that, I had so much time on my hands. And so we both are kind of worker bees. We like we're doers. And so we kind of hit the ground running. And we're fortunate enough to have friends in the development space to kind of like ping our ideas off each other. Because as much as we believed in this concept, like we are not tech people. So like the app building part of it was we didn't know what actually was possible or what wasn't. And so yeah, we brought them on, and from there it was pretty quick. We ended up launching to friends and family in October of 2020, um, after a beta of like kind of testing how and if people would actually use Tula. We believed in it so passionately, but wanted to, of course, like get buy-in from other busy people, busy families, and see if it really was something that other people needed too. And then we ended up launching to the official public in Denver and Boulder in December of 2020.
So incredible. That was between May and December. That was an accelerated launch and just
Yeah.
startup phase. And so during that time, did you guys have any obstacles or setbacks? What tell us like what did you have to overcome?
Oh my gosh, so many so many things. I think honestly it was kind of how naive we were about just like a lot of the things. Like well, first, the actual building of the app is so much more intense and rigorous and complicated. And so we wanted it to feel very simplistic. We wanted to kind of bridge that gap between like technology and personal connection. Yeah, we really wanted the app to feel kind of an intersection of personal connection and ease of technology. So like it's already very hard for people to ask for help. I think it's a kind of a behavior change that needs to happen, and for a lot of people that is the hardest part. It's like getting to the asking for help part. So we really thought the app was critical to kind of take that away, take that stress out of, having to look somebody in the eye and actually ask them for help, or have a phone call and ask somebody for help. And we really believe that if people were able to just put something in an app and see that it was being taken care of, that would kind of alleviate some of that burden or guilt that people feel when they're asking for help, which is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of where we started with the app, and why that was so important. The app, it started out. So one of the obstacles was that the app, because we didn't want to put all of our eggs in the basket yet, because we weren't totally sure this was going to, we really wanted proof of concepts and on a larger scale. And so um, the app was pretty manual on the back end. So like it was a web app, and we actually had like 6 integrations in it originally of like our assistants were logging their time somewhere, like things were being pushed out somewhere else, and we were having to copy and paste and put it in. And so it was very manual and not efficient at all originally until we were able to build our actual app. And so that was one of the obstacles, was just the time and inefficiency of what we were wanting to feel like was a very, automatic thing. It was not actually originally.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, like, now people know what Tula is. And, if you're listening, literally you download the Tula app, you open it, you say what the task is, and then like Cody assigns it to this magical human and like they do it for you. And it's so great and so easy. But what outcomes did you think you would have for people like me? Like, what was the avatar that you had in mind and what did you hope to bring them?
yeah, I mean, you certainly embody somebody that we hoped would be our, avatar of one of our clientele for sure. Just a busy, ambitious professional that doesn't have a lot of time to tackle the things on their to-do list. And we truly felt like, when this individual does have time, it shouldn't necessarily have to be spent doing all these kind of, day-to-day tasks. And so you were certainly I mean, I remember actually when you signed up, and originally we were like, when we were first starting, you took a chance on us very early.
Really?
Um
I guess so, because I've been working with you guys for
yeah,
2 years now.
yeah, I feel like it was pretty early on in Austin for sure. Um, because you were like, we got so excited when people signed up originally that weren't people that we already knew through friends and family. It has since gotten past that, and now we don't know anybody. I mean, like,
Yeah. You're
we don't
how
know
many
anything.
cities are you in now? You guys are everywhere.
Thank you. Yeah, we're in let's see, 6 states, and 9 markets within those 6 states.
And you're hoping to launch in Dallas and Houston soon, right? In Texas?
Yeah, we have a lot of cities on our list for sure, and those are definitely some of them. We're actually looking at New York very soon, so
I would
that
love
would be
that.
our next market.
I spent a lot of time there, so you can help me there, but I'll
Yeah,
have friends that will use your service.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys are open. Like you welcome people to email and to say, like, I need you here. So we'll definitely make sure that people get the email address before we end our conversation today. But I want to turn the conversation over to be about you for a little bit. I decided to name this podcast Roots and Rebirth because we all have our origin stories, who we are, what we had to overcome to get to where we are now. And along the way, there'll be these rebirths that allow us to be the truest version of ourselves. And I definitely think the creation and birthing Tula was one of your rebirths. Is is that one of your biggest, or is there another time where you can share, like, you just had this awakening and you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna talk to my higher self, and I'm showing up today as Cody, the human without a title of mom, co-founder, sister, friend, any of it."
Yeah. That's so cool. That's such a cool concept and a cool title. I honestly think, and Megan and I talk, Megan is my co founder of Tula. We often recently talk about how when we first launched Tula, we were very much in this we got kind of trapped in this like hustle culture of like, we are launching a startup. We, we're very engrossed in the metrics and the numbers and the like, we were not embodying any part of our balanced lifestyle. We'll just say that. And so I honestly would almost say that the rebirth for me has come in the past year, a year and a half, where we really have settled into truly like living what we talk to clients and encourage our clients to do on a day-to-day basis. I finally feel like I am living that in the past year and a half. And that really came from like letting go of, I think, society's expectations of what you need to be doing as a co-founder of a startup, letting go of my own expectations for myself and for our business. We are not taking on like formal investors. And so we have chosen to do this really intentionally and grow slowly and thoughtfully. And in doing that, that has allowed us to find a lot more balance in our personal lives. We are the best of friends. And we always said if like business started to come in between that, then that was like, it was a no go, you know? We will always choose our friendship over the business. And thankfully, that has never happened. I credit that to us really like taking a moment to find our own balance and our friendship and our families obviously being huge parts of that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I was gonna say, and you need your own Tula assistant. So you
I
can
do.
balance
I
life.
use Tula all the time.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
You're
I
like,
use
I'm my best client.
I really am. And it's so funny because I try to encourage our clients, like, I'm like, because it really is a behavior change, like asking for help and feeling like you don't have to do it all yourself. And it really does take a mindset shift. And it took me a long time. I think probably, I mean, we're almost 5. It took me probably 3 of those years to get to the point where I'm like, very much comfortable asking for help now and using Tula in the way that I encourage our clients to.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, this episode is like, there's going to be a commercial and there's going to be more. When we come back, we're going to talk to Deborah, who is on your Tula team in Austin. She's going to give us tips, tricks, and tools on how we can live a more balanced life. And I love that you guys have thought of this from a holistic, point of view. Most people wouldn't even think of it as a continuum, but you're like, the app is just the start, but your way of living has to match that. And so you're giving people tools every day to live their very best. So before we close our time with you, I have a lightning round of questions for you. What's
Hey,
your favorite vacay, beach or the city?
Ooh. Beach,
Yes,
maybe?
mine too. What's on
Mhm.
your nightstand?
Oh, lots of books. I have a stack of books and my Kindle, and a water and a candle.
Yes. Your favorite activity to do in Denver?
Oh, in Denver. Oh my goodness. I just like being outside. So pretty much anything outside.
Do you
Yeah.
mind repeating that because of
Oh, nope.
the little
I like anything outside. So hiking, spending time with my kiddos, fishing, kind of anything outdoorsy.
your dream Tula client? We're gonna manifest your dream Tula client.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you're quite up there, Terry.
You're sweet. I take that. But is there like not a celebrity that you want to like hit you up on the Tula app?
I mean, Paul Rudd?
Okay. No, we're gonna tag you in this. Call Cody. Tula Balance Life. I love it so much. And my last question, Cody, is do you use any spiritual practices or tools to help you live a balanced life?
Oh, that's amazing. I do meditate. I do practice yoga. I do try to journal. I need to get into a better habit, if I'm honest, about being consistent with it, but I do journal as well. Yeah, and just try to live in the present.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Well, you are allowing me to live in the present because if I did not use a Tula assistant, I would have had to put up my own Christmas tree. I'd have had to move alone. Now you guys are feeding me every day, which is so incredible. So just thank you so much for what you're doing to allow us to be ourselves and have the space to do what our hearts are really passionate about.
Oh, thank you, Terry, so much for having me.
Yes. And we're going to now take a break. And when we come back, Deborah's going to give us those tips. And you are giving everyone, 20% off with the code MESET20. So incredible. Thank you so much. I just love what you guys are doing. So I can't wait to see you grow to more cities.
Thank you so much, Terry.
Hi, it's me, Terry. Transformation doesn't happen by accident. It's a daily practice. And Best Self Co. gives you the tools to live with purpose. From guided journals to productivity decks, every product is designed right in my hometown of Austin, Texas, to help you dream bigger, reflect deeper, and take aligned action. Visit Best Self Co. and use the code Terry for your special percentage off. Your next breakthrough starts with one small step, and today is a beautiful day to begin. So, after this commercial break, we're going to introduce you to Deborah, who works for Tula Life Balance. And she actually is a coach to teach you how to be your very best and to live a balanced life. You're going to get tools, tips, and tricks on exactly what you need to do each day to prioritize and be your very best. You guys, I am so excited to introduce you to Deborah Doliner. I have known her for more than a decade, but today I'm going to get to know her along the side of you. And I was delighted to learn that Deborah's a graduate of the journalism school at the University of Missouri, which, if you are a J school alum like me, you're dying. You're jealous. You wanted to also go to Mizzou. But so that's the only time that you're going to hear me say that because go Tigers. She got her start as a staff photographer at the El Paso Times and eventually pivoted to becoming a well known Austin, Texas based wedding photographer. But today we're going to talk to Deborah about balance, purpose, and just living your best life. Deborah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I want to start off by just really getting to know more about you. You are the mom to Meyer, the wife of a dear, and you're running a business and also working at Tula. How do you balance it all?
Oh my goodness. It is a lot about prioritizing and prioritizing what is important to me, important to our family, and setting goals and delegating what is not driving me towards those goals and really focusing on that. And it's a constant work in progress. There are times that I need to sit back and remind myself of, time that I'm wasting that could be better used. And I actually have my goals set up on my mirror. So that really does help me
Oh,
focus
wow.
and really, really focus on work-life balance. So
Well, the name of this podcast is called The Great MeSet because I believe when you focus on yourself first and you place yourself at the center of your life, which for some people feel very selfish, but trust me, it's not. And then when you move with purpose and in alignment with your head, your heart, and your gut, you're able with ease to live the life that you really want, but also focusing on the legacy that you leave behind. Now, the trick is you have to do it from a place where your cup is full because you can't pour from an empty cup. And in order to do that, like you have to have balance, you have to have purpose. Deborah, I'd love just to hear from you. Like, how do you define those two things or even hold space for them in your life?
that's an excellent question. And I believe, again, it's really digging deep first. When you talk about leaving your legacy, it's digging deep and seeing what do you want in your life and what do you want to accomplish, what's important to you and what's in alignment with your values and as well, your spouse's values and how do you reach that? And I do putting yourself at the center is important because if you don't fill that cup, you don't have enough energy for those in your life. And it's your life. Why don't you want to? It's important to do something that feels good for us. And so, again, balance for me, I divide my goals between there's a personal goal every year, a business, or if someone's not working, they can make it a hobby goal. And I also have a family or relationship goal. And
No.
I literally have it laminated on my mirror every day. So that constant reminder helps. But I also do 3 things every day that are moving me towards those goals. So it's I just always need that constant reminder of what am I doing to move me towards those
Yeah.
goals. Anything else that really is taking up time, how can I outsource that? How can I delegate that? And I think that a lot of people do goals, but they don't focus on that personal goal. So that helps give me and would give others time to fill that cup.
Yeah, and literally, if you're having trouble getting started on the me set, that'll get the movement moving, right? Because now every day you're looking at that personal goal and saying, what are 3 things that I can do to move that forward? So I love those so much.
Yeah. And there's a wonderful journal. I know there's so many different organizers and planners. I think I've tried 10 of them.
I think I have them
Um,
all too.
And so many of them went, unfinished. The one that I absolutely love is called the Finisher's Journal.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
And it's fantastic because it has a habit tracker. It has a spot to do your gratitude. But I love that every day when you do your to-do list, it really hones it down to 3 things. And it's checking every day, is this moving me towards my goal? So I just absolutely love that because it really brings everything together.
Yeah, the one I use is called Best Self Co. And they're actually Austin based and a woman owned. Shout out to them. Been using them, I think, since like 2017. But it's very similar. There's a space for me every day, to write the things that are important, to keep track of my meetings and to end the day with some positive thoughts. So that resonates with me a whole lot. And, I often tell people there's always like this one moment, a defining me set moment that causes you to pause and reset and recharge, but like restack the plates of life.
Mhm.
And, for me, there've been a lot. There's been some in my junior league life, some in my lobbying life, and some in my personal life. But with each of those, I've just evolved as a person and I've shed so many things that were no longer serving me and just moving forward again with that intention and purpose that we talked about. I want to know for you, what was that me set moment and the one that encouraged you to pivot, to move from, taking pictures of the best days of many people's lives. I say many because maybe not all.
Yeah. I
and
love the when you did it.
and now being of service to people in the manner in which you are now.
Yes. Yes, I have had a few different me set moments, but it's funny that you asked that because I can remember the exact moment. I was, my son was 3 months old. I was walking in to photograph a ceremony. And I got a text from the babysitter saying it's been a really tough day. Do you have a moment for a phone call? And I'm literally walking down to go get ready to photograph the ceremony. And I thought, this isn't going to work. And my husband has a job that has, crazy hours and unpredictable days. And I thought, I can't do this. And he was so young. And I remember thinking throughout my pregnancy, asking myself, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? So I think sometimes our Oprah used to say, life whispers to you until then
Yeah.
hitting you over the head. So that was the moment that I think I just finally accepted it. And I needed to finish out my wedding contracts. And I still second shot with a few friends when they needed help. But in 2020 was my final wedding. And I loved it. I love my clients. Many of them are my friends. But I think sometimes we just need that permission for that reset
Yeah.
to ask yourself this isn't working for me now. This isn't serving what I need. What's next?
How did you get to that point? There's the person who's listening. It's like, how do I even begin to have that intellectually honest conversation with myself? So then creating an exit strategy and a plan, because you said you finish out those contracts,
Mhm.
to then owning, just that desire you have and empowering yourself to take action. All those things sound pretty overwhelming and scary for the average person.
For sure. And they can be overwhelming and scary. And I think knowing that, and that's totally normal. And I went through a year at least where with my girlfriends, I called it my career crisis. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do next with my life. And I think that that's okay to sit back. My husband had a similar situation where he actually went to a career coach. So I highly recommend that if you're in a spot where you're unhappy with work or it's not working for your work life balance or for whatever reason that you have, it's important again to get help where you need. And so my husband went to a career coach. For me, it was just sort of dipping my toe into certain careers to look into them, see if this is something I want to do. Actually thought about I was a teacher for a short time. I thought about getting back into teaching. And so I did a little bit of substitute teaching and I was like, the kids are great, but it's not my time to do that right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to not know for a while and give yourself permission for that, and get help either through therapy or a career coach or a life coach, and just know sometimes it can take time.
Well, I love the through line of your story. You were of service to others as a photographer, and now you're of service to others by educating people on how to have balance in their life with your courses and your coaching. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I work for a company called Tula Life Balance, and they are a on-demand personal assistant and personal chef company. And so what I did, I created a work-life balance class for them. It's an hour long, and we're offering it throughout Austin, and we're starting to offer it online as well. And
Wow.
I love it because sometimes when you sign up for courses and they don't give you the meat of it. And this gives wonderful, wonderful tips on how to achieve better work-life balance. And we also provide an entire month of meals to help your meal planning.
Oh, that's
'Cause
incredible.
yeah, because do you ever have those nights when you're like, "I just don't know what I'm gonna cook?"
I cannot make another decision some days, and I still have to feed myself.
Right. Exactly, exactly. So, finding healthy, easy meals you can cook throughout the month and, just offers a lot of good practical tips. And some of those are just reminders that we need. I was just having lunch with a friend, and she said, I'm not eating until 7 p.m. I'm not sleeping well. And sometimes we need that reminder. And that's one thing we do in the class is like, let's just do the basic check. Are you sleeping well? Are you eating healthy, balanced meals, that kind of thing. But it also gives really good substance and helpful tips to help you
Yeah.
bring better work-life balance.
I love that you're doing this work along the side of Tula. So it's like, I'm going to give you the tools to succeed. And for many people, they might choose to use Tula as a way to balance their life and hands off that prioritization. Tula has saved me so many times. I tell people, I use Tula so I can rest. So why don't you tell people what exactly is Tula? Because they're probably thinking Tula. Like, what are you
Yeah,
guys thinking
yeah.
about?
So Tula, and it's easy to remember, it's Tula Life Balance, and they have an app you can find in the App Store if you just Google Tula, Tula Balance. And they allow people to prioritize with purpose. And so when we talk about finding your life's purpose and leaving your legacy, all of those things that you may not want to do or you don't have time to do, doing laundry, running errands, meal planning, meal prep. I hired Tula to purchase and lay down our mulch because it had been on my to-do list for far too long. And I just was like, I don't have the time or energy to run down to Lowe's and get all the mulch bags. And so anything really that you can think of, it is outsourcing a on-demand personal assistant. And so some Tula assistants have organized homes, even helped with research for travel and kids' summer camps. So anything that you really that's on your to-do list, they do. And it just allows you to focus on what's important. And that can be rest, or that can be doing game night with the family. They even plan kids' parties. So for me, I find planning parties can sometimes be a little bit stressful. So outsourcing that so you don't have to feel that. And I think that's really important because it deals not only with our bringing more meaning and fulfillment to our life, but also like there's a mental offload to it. Sometimes we keep so much mental stress of the things that we need to do.
You guys are owned by two women. Tell us more about the founders and the owners, and what markets are you guys in? Where can we find you?
So we're in Denver, in Phoenix, and we just opened up a new market in Montana as
Oh
well.
wow.
And yes, and we are always open to new markets as well. So I've heard a lot of people in Dallas and Houston are wanting to bring Tula in. So you can always let us know if you are really wanting a personal assistant. We can open up a market there as well. And Megan and Cody are the founders, and they're both phenomenal women. And they are just magnetic. And during COVID, they both saw the need that they needed just extra help at home so they could focus on their family. And that's when the idea sparked. And Cody is a former event coordinator. So
Whoa.
she is all about
I trust.
organizing and getting things done. And they are both very, very type A women. So they know they want to hire personal assistants that would really get the job done exactly how they would want it done, if that makes sense. And they're just delightful.
Well, we've talked about so many things like, finding your purpose and coming up with your strategies for your three goals in life, personal, maybe business or hobbies and family. I want to know, like, for the person who is listening to this and it's been helpful, but they might still be overwhelmed. What are three actionable steps that you would give them?
Yes.
What are three actionable steps that you would give them so that they can take that first step to feel empowered and just to take control of their life back?
Yes, absolutely. I think the first important thing to do is to write it down and break down actionable steps every single day to work towards that goal. And one thing that I think is really important too is to know that not all the goals have to be these big, huge accomplishments. Um, Confession, one of my goals is to finish designing our family albums because our son is 9 and we have only 2 done. And so that was my goal this year because I thought every single year that keeps going by, I feel like it weighs more and more on my shoulders. And so it can be anything, but I think writing it down and taking actionable steps and looking at, again, anything, sometimes we have things on our to-do list. And we're like, I just don't want to, or we set up a meeting and you're like, I really just don't want to go to that meeting. I think it's important to pay attention to those and start taking away the things that you think in your life that you really don't want to be doing. Why are we going to meetings that we don't
Yeah,
want to go to, and signing up for things that are not serving that goal?
that one just like made my whole spine vibrate. We take inventory of like the number of pair of black shoes we have or like the groceries in the pantry, but we don't take inventory of what is on our calendars, and our calendars drive our lives, right?
Mhm.
And that resonates with me for so many reasons. And quite honestly, it was how I got to having a TEDx around this concept of the Great MeSet. It's because I felt like I was the hamster on the hamster wheel. And sometimes I'll say, like, I was both the hamster and the wheel. But, it wasn't until I had paused and became aware of what I was putting on the calendar and then taking inventory. Is this helping me live the life that I want to live and achieve my goals? And does this make me feel good? And so many things on that list were hell no's. They weren't even no's, they were hell no's. But I somehow had negotiated other people's expectations with myself and was still showing up,
Yeah.
and so it's like taking that inventory allows you to free the burden, but also free everything on your calendar. And like now all of a sudden, like I can be home Monday through Friday on a weeknight, and that is a vibe.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And really thinking about, sometimes there are things that come up on our calendar and we think, oh, well, this would be fun to go to. But we're like, do we really want to? Does this fit what we want to do? Really asking yourself, do you want to do this? And it's okay. I am a busy individual, but I think it's important to be busy with very specific things in mind, not busy to be busy. That makes sense.
Yeah. No,
Um,
absolutely.
and I think it's okay to also have unplanned time. Like my favorite weekends are when I don't have any. And because those are the days that we say, you know what, let's go down to town lake and walk around. And I think it's really important to have the unplanned time.
Yeah, usually I actually just earlier today I did a keynote around some of this concept. And for me, it's like three easy things. The first is you have to be aware that there's a need to get off the hamster wheel and just saying, like, to yourself, girl, sit down. Like,
Absolutely.
let's get it together. Let's look at the calendar and let's figure out a way because you're right. We're too busy, scheduling hair appointments and manicures and eyebrows. And like, there's always another task on the
Mhm.
calendar. And a lot of people might even see that as self care, but it's just another to do. It's just another way of being busy. And in order to give ourselves time just to be and to be ourselves, we got to clear that off. So it's becoming aware, clearing it off. And then it's coming up with an action plan. Like, how am I going to use the time? Right? Because some days you might just want to walk around town lake or stay at home in your jammies. But other days it might just be a moment to meditate and turn inward, to listen to, the conversation about it is a career pivot on the way. Until we quiet ourselves, we can't hear the type of downloads we need just to be our best self. And then I'd say third, it's truly having accountability by scheduling the next one,
Yeah.
and accountability so that you're telling your partner, I don't want to do anything this week, or I don't want to take on another, chair role with the PTA. And you're taking accountability for yourself, but your partner is also helping you become accountable. So I think, when you think about those as micro wins, as you were talking about, becomes bite size and so easy just to see that, yeah, I can take action and create change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you said something earlier where you said, hell no, anything that I take on now, it has to be a hell yes in my mind. That if I am
Mhm.
not jumping up and down, so excited for the opportunity, that's a no. And another way of looking at it, I had a very wise mentor once tell me, if you're debating about something, the answer is no.
Oh, that is
And
so good.
yeah, and I can't tell you how many times in my life I've sat back and said, I'm debating about this. I can tell. And then later on, I'm like, oh, yeah, it was a definite no. I was just trying to talk myself into it. And the only time I ignore that rule is if I want to eat Oreos. Because the answer is yes. But
You
if
gotta
I'm
get
sitting here,
it.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
we have this beautiful intersection of lives because we got reconnected through Tula, my love for Tula, but we originally met, through the Junior League of Austin, and we're both longtime Junior League members, and so I'd love to pivot just to talk a little bit about how to have balance with the crazy demands of
Mhm.
being in the Junior League. I actually joined in 2003 or four in Louisiana and then became a member, transferred to Austin in 2009.
Mhm.
And I feel like when I transferred to Austin, my life got so busy. You're like moving up from committee chair to council chair to like board. Like there's always something. There's always what's the next placement? What's the event you have to go to? And on top of that, the birthday party for someone on your committee, the charity for this person on your committee because you want to support them, the happy hour. And it's like as I say, I was everything to everyone else and like nothing to myself.
That's the part.
How do you, really digest that time where you were at your junior league height? And
Yeah.
what advice would you have given to yourself then to live
Oh, God.
maybe with more purpose, more intention and balanced.
Absolutely. There was a time when I think I clocked 30 hours in 1 week.
I believe it.
It's serving on a
You were
committee. Yes,
everywhere with your
yes,
camera.
yes, yes. And that's not a, I'm not complaining or venting at all, because there were some women that were doing 40 hours a week and had a full-time job. None of us had kids at the time. But what advice would I give to myself? I know I keep saying this, I think to be a better delegator, I think is, as women, men too, but as women, I think we have a really hard time delegating and letting go. And the most important thing, and this is what Tula talks about as well, is the important thing is to create a culture around asking for and accepting help. So as leaders, and that's one thing it was a wonderful learning opportunity for me, is learning how to delegate better.
Yeah.
But the advice I would have said would be to definitely slow down and to also put time for yourself. And that sometimes is so hard. But if that's 20 minutes of time a day reading or talking to your best friend, I think slowing down. Yeah. What about for you? What would be your advice?
Oh my gosh, such a good question. There's so much. I learned so much from a professional perspective. The professional development from junior league is like on fleek. Essentially in Austin, we have 2,500 members. And 1 year I was vice president of membership, which is like HR. Like I was a VP of HR for the whole league, when you think about it. But I think what I would have told myself is pace yourself. You should have a year on with a really big placement and then a year off with a not so big placement. And, for those year offs, like you decide what it is. Looking back, I do feel like it was always what is the next and the highest placement. And I was allowing a lot of people around me to hype me up to drive in that manner. And, truthfully, I'm not a group sports person, like I'm just kind of like, I'm chilling in the back, I don't have to be everywhere. And so I think that, while I had a really great time and I had some incredible placements that many, probably prayed and hoped for, I would have definitely slowed things down and given myself more time just to be myself. So when I look back at my 30s, there was no time for me. It was all career or junior league or friends. I mean, at times there were even barely little for family. My family's in Louisiana. I didn't have a lot of time to travel there. And so that's, I think, why your 3 buckets of goals resonated so much with me. Because if I had that perspective back then, life would have been more balanced and different.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I like the idea of thinking about taking a difficult year. And this can apply to anyone. It doesn't, or listeners
Anything in
who aren't
life.
familiar with the
Yeah.
generally, anytime we have a really busy year, taking that time. In a similar situation, I did the same thing where I think I was more of like, how can I serve you? Whatever you think you need me for, I'm here. As long as I think I can fill that role. And I remember I went into a year that I felt burnt out into another difficult year. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to take a break. And so I took a 2-year break. And
Good for you.
yeah.
A lot of people don't take the league up on it, and sometimes it's there for a reason.
Yeah, I think it's there. And I love the league. And that was I was like, I need to do this because it's such an important thing to me, and to my life, and to how they serve the community. And I want to be able to still have those wonderful feelings and not, be burnt at both ends.
Yeah, and I think it's give yourself the grace and space to take the leave if you're thinking about it, and don't be embarrassed about it. When I was VP of membership, a lot of women felt guilty or embarrassed or like people would judge them. And it's like, no, those leaves are there for a reason. And it's so you can prioritize your health, your family, your career, yourself, like whatever. So, yeah, thank you for being vulnerable and just even sharing that you had a leave, because sometimes that can be like a touchy subject for some people.
I think even with work, if people need a break, it's okay.
Okay, lightning round. I'm going to
Yes.
ask you some questions, and I just
Sure.
want you to give me your first thought, like the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
And first is, what book has shaped the way that you think about prioritization and balance? Okay, we're almost done with this episode. But if today's episode sparked something in you, don't let the inspiration stop here. Head over to movementmakercollective.com, where we celebrate stories of bold changemakers, purpose-driven leadership, and joyful transformation. You'll find blog posts, resources, and reflections to keep you grounded and growing. We got to keep those roots rootin'. So if you're ready to build a movement or just need a soulful check-in, we got you. Continue your rebirth at movementmakercollective.com.
Oh, oh, that's a really difficult one. You said lightning round enough. I will say it's more about family, but there's a book called The Anxious Generation, and that has changes in how we prioritize family.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you an early riser or a night owl?
I'm an early riser. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. and that has not been working out lately. And so I'm now 5:45. So how about you?
I'm a 5 a.m. girl. I love just to meditate, journal in the morning, work out in the morning, because my work days tend to be so fast and so busy. If I don't do it in the morning, it's not happening. Well, okay. My next one is a fun one.
Mhm.
You had an extra hour in the day. How would you use it?
Oh,
So fun, right?
I would use it rowing around town lake.
Oh,
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. As long as the wind is under 12 miles per hour.
I think you're almost at 30 today.
Yes, I know today's not, but I texted Coach Bobby. Texas rowing dock is amazing for anyone who wants to learn to row or do stand-up paddleboard or kayaking. And yes, rowing would be.
Yeah, I said,
What do you do?
I would probably like Pilates and yoga every day. I'm in probably like early afternoon, in addition to whatever I did in the morning. I just sometimes after work, I just wish I had more time just to like relax. So that's like no question about it. That's definitely how I would use that time. My next one is another fun one. I love all of these. A non-negotiable ritual for you.
A non-negotiable. Oh gosh. Um, this one's silly. Have you heard of brownies?
Say that one more time.
Have you heard of brownies? Wait, maybe I don't want to reveal that on air. We'll ask this question again.
What is it?
But I want to tell you, they are these like it's a skin thing that you put on your.
Oh no, you have to talk about that. I was gonna say a blowout.
Oh, I love it. No, I just because it's funny.
Maybe that'll make a fun outtake.
I mean, why are they not negotiable?
Okay.
Actually, I like this. Well, it's not as fun.
So what is your favorite non-negotiable ritual? And it could be as crazy as you want it to be.
Okay, this one is silly. There are these things called brownies that you put on your forehead to prevent wrinkles. It's like paper. They've been around since like the 60s. And so I do that every night. And my husband jokes around that I look like a Star Trek character. And so
You're like, I am saving us money because I'm not getting Botox. So like, let me be.
yeah, exactly. For you.
I tell everyone, people definitely know this about me. I get a blowout every Saturday morning. And if not on Saturday, some random day during the week, I can save time every morning on not having to do my hair. Because your curls can last a week if you teach them to. Your curls can do anything you want them to do. And I'm just clearing out my personal email, So it's a good 90 minutes just to like get stuff done, but also like, have fun and feel spoiled. So it is like a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah. See, that wouldn't work. I think that's amazing. That would not work with my hair. It gets greasy by day 2.
No, treat it. I'm going to send you some news articles about this.
Yes.
On a mission to change people's perception about how this works. But my last one, it's a favorite one. I'd love to know, like, who inspires you?
Ooh, who do I know personally that inspires me?
Anyone.
Okay. I really love, there's this guy, he's actually from Austin. His name is Ryan Holiday.
Everybody loves Ryan Holiday.
Okay, so you're from, okay.
I need to get into it. I need to get with it.
I really am into the Daily Stoic. And yeah, he is one of the people that really inspired me to start living life to its fullest. So
Wow. We might need to hang out with him, Ryan Holiday, if you're listening. Like, let's do coffee.
yeah, he has a really cool bookshop I've never been to. I'm dying to go to called the I'm blanking out on the name of it. But he has a bookshop in Bastrop.
Oh, okay. It's like a field trip. That's a fun one.
Mhm. I've been
We
dying to
both,
go.
if you're listening, we both live in Austin proper. So I guess Bastrop is like maybe 60 to 90 minutes away, but it sounds like it's worth the drive.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, final question. What is the one thing that you hope people take away from our conversation today?
I really hope people take away the idea of asking for and accepting help. I think so many of us are so scared to let go and give yourself permission to do that. And it'll be so much more rewarding mentally and bring you so much more joy in your life and fulfillment.
What a gift. What a gift you just gave us by saying, like, you can ask for help.
Mhm.
Pretty much anything, you know? And speaking of gifts, you're gifting all of the listeners something special from Tula. Do you want to share that?
Yes. So you can look at our website at tulabalance.com, but we also have an amazing app in the App Store. You just
I
Google
highly recommend it. It's great.
ULA, yeah, balanced. And there will be a promo code MeSet20. And so that'll give
Yay.
all the listeners 20% off any Tula services. And if you have any questions, you can go to tulabalance.com and we can answer them there for you.
Well, we'll drop that in the show notes. And if you guys are in a market where Tula does not exist yet, you should still give them a shout out and tell them, bring it here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But thank you so much for just empowering us, to live our best lives, to have me set moments, and to ask for help so that we get more time to rest, to be still, and just to be gracious to ourselves and others. It's such a pleasure having you here
Yeah.
today.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, y'all. Hey, don't forget the content shared on this podcast is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Yep, that's right. If you need medical, mental health, or other professional support, please consult a qualified expert. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't like, share, or tell your friends about this podcast episode. Of course, you can follow me at Movement Maker Collective on Instagram or at Terri B. Williams. And for all the inspiration you need to create change within yourself or to create change within your community, you can start a movement by just typing in movementmakercollective.com. I promise there are tools, strategies, and tips to help you be a change maker in the world. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll chat with you next time.